Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bourbon Bites. I'm your host, Clifton, and today we are doing whiskey. I was going to say cocktails. Why am I thinking cocktails? Weird. We are not doing cocktails. I kind of wanted to quickly make a cocktail before this, but I ran out of time. We are doing bourbons to pair with your favorite Valentine's Day gifts. So let's say you're like most men and you don't think to get a gift until last minute. Actually, I read that like 16% of men don't buy their gifts until like literally the last minute. So if you're like that, maybe you want to impress your significant other or your love interest. And you don't have time to run out and go get a box of chocolates or a bundle of roses or anything that's typical gifts for Valentine's Day. Well, you have a lot of bourbon at home. So these are the bottles that I recommend you surprise your loved ones with. A little bit of a joking theme here, but I'm excited to get to these whiskeys, and I have reasons I picked each of them. So there is a purpose to this stream. So we're going to get started with that. I'm also going to do a bit of a love language test involving whiskey. At the end of the stream, I've asked my good friend ChatGPT to come up with some questions. So we're going to make sure Cliffy appears before the end of the stream, and he's going to answer these questions, and we're going to find out what Cliffy's love language is for anyone interested. Just so you guys can know. But I'm actually starting off with a whiskey that I literally grabbed right before I ran over here to start the stream. I was trying to think, how do I relate whiskeys to Valentine's Day? And I had like three basic ones picked out, which you've already figured it out if you saw the title. But I was like, you know what? There's got to be one more that lower proof one that I can start with to set my journey off in the Valentine's Day spirit. And I thought, what better than a whiskey from Virginia, because Virginia is for lovers. So this is Bowman Brothers straight bourbon whiskey, small batch. Now Bowman Brothers, they I don't know if it was the case. For a while they were taking some distillate from like Buffalo Trace and like redistilling it in Virginia. I don't know if they still do that. That was something unique about them that I read years ago. But it is a Virginia straight bourbon whiskey in the end of the day. So since Virginia is for lovers, I'm going to start with that and get myself in the mood for a good stream tonight. Let's say hello to some folks. I see Bourbon Neophyte was here earlier in the chat. You said, cheers, all you magnificent whiskey people. Now smash that like button. Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for stopping in. Showed up 15 minutes early, so I don't know if you're still here or not, but hello. Say hello if you are. Michael is here. Good evening, all you wonderful whiskey people. I'm organizing floor whiskey and drinking some horse soldier after listening to the founder's interview on the Bourbon Pursuit podcast today. Awesome. I've managed to get rid of almost all my floor whiskey. I have some more hidden in there in my little hidden. It's not on the floor. Well, it's in the closet. It's basically the same. So good for you to organize it, and that sounds like a great pour. Donnie's here. Good to see you, Donnie. Donnie's one of our incredible mods who is keeping the room safe and bot free. I don't know. I think I got rid of the bot problem by making it subscriber only. So all you have to do is subscribe for 1 minute to the channel, and then you can comment. It's just to keep the bots out. We were having a big problem with them a while back, but yeah, if you're not yet subscribed, why not? It's free, and I go live every Thursday, and I'm excited to drink with you all every week. Tony is in Chile. Buenas tardes, amigos. Buenas tardes to you. I know you said don't be late because you're already drinking and smoking cigars, so cheers to you, Tony. Hope you were having an amazing trip. I saw some of your Instagram stories over the past couple of days, so cheers to you, man. I'll cheers you with this Virginia whiskey. I actually got this on 50% off sale at Vaughn's grocery store. I've always been curious about Bowman Brothers, but it's always kind of hit at a price point that's been a bit much for me. This one was literally 50% MSRP, so it was like $22, I think. And it's good. It's a 90 proof whiskey. There is no age statement, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I don't think it says anything about the age statement on here, but it tastes good. It doesn't taste young. It tastes I don't know if I'd say unique. I was going to say because, every whiskey from different regions, or especially bourbons, have a different flavor profile. I don't know if this is enough to give me what a Virginia bourbon flavor profile is, but I sure as heck enjoy it. So there's that. Let's see who else is here. Michael's still here in the chat. Em's here. Good to see you again, Emily. Floor is the largest shelf in the house. I mean, that is there's some truth to that. Whiskey Pair is in the chat. I said Bowman takes high wines from Buffalo Trace and redistills and rectifies using their own pot stills. Same cooperage as Buffalo Trace as well. Interesting. Like I said, I had heard that, but I didn't want to like say it was true because I honestly didn't research this. I grabbed this last minute, but good to know. I mean, I don't think it necessarily. I mean, it does have. I was gonna say that I was a Buffalo Trace flavor profile, but it kind of does. And maybe I was trying to look too hard into the Virginia of it all. Yeah, I mean, I would say there are some reminiscent characteristics there of just standard Buffalo Trace. Not quite as it doesn't taste as complex as like an Eagle Rare or anything like that. But yeah, there's some characteristics. If you can't find Buffalo Trace, maybe give this a try. Donnie says AI is here. Yes, we are doing an AI generated quiz later on tonight. Should be a lot of fun. I had to do a reshuffle because I asked it like 10 questions first, and they were all like generic questions. They're like, "Would you like to go on a date and drink whiskey?" Like, no crap. So I had to. I told it to make the questions more complex and to add a couple more questions. So it should be fun. We'll go through it at the end. But right now, let's get into which whiskeys you should drink to pair or replace your Valentine's Day gifts. First of all, probably the most popular gift is flowers, or specifically roses. You know where I'm going with this. There is a whiskey brand conveniently called Four Roses. Now, this is one of the new ones. This is one of they started doing individual recipe single barrels. This is the first one I've ever bought. I'm very, very excited to try it. This is OBSF, which I went back to my top when I did the Four Roses every recipe with Brandon a while back ago. Check out that stream if you missed it. This was my number one recipe. So I'm really excited to see if I still feel that way about this one, because that one blew me away at the time. So this is the OBSF, like I said. They have 10 different recipes. They are all a little bit different. It's just the yeast strain, the flavor profile. But yeah, this was my favorite. So I'm going to give it a try. I just want to make sure it's the right recipe. I just ordered this today. I just want to make sure they sent me the right one. OBSF. Yep, cool. I did research earlier, like which one was my favorite. So let's go and get this poured. This is coming in at 100 proof. So these are the red labels. They're all 100 proof, but individual. They are single barrels too. So they're like a spin-off of the regular single barrel Four Roses. Yeah, and if you're curious about like what makes the different profiles unique, you can just go to Four Roses website. They have all the recipes there. I've already gone through that on a previous stream. I don't want to spend all the stream doing that tonight. But yeah, I'm excited to try this one. Oh no, my main light just went out, but there's still enough to see my glass. Well, there you go. That's all you need. As long as you can see what you're drinking and there's no bugs in it. Although maybe I freaked you out thinking there's bugs in it. I don't know. I swear, like flies or like gnats are like drawn to whiskey. I swear. Oh, I do love that nose. I will say. Again, summary of that stream is we got a bunch of different private select single barrels from different stores from every single recipe. Thanks to Brandon and a few of you that chipped in some bottles. And yeah, OBSF came out as a clear winner for me. The only one that got the notorious A tier rating with our chart, or S tier. I think we call it S tier. That nose, it's so it's. I wouldn't say a Four Roses typical note on the nose. This one's definitely leaning a little bit spicy, a little bit earthy. Now there are some Four Roses that have a very clean floral note or a clear floral note, which is kind of the thought process here, was what I was thinking, but this one doesn't. This is my first time having this one. So this was leaning more towards the earthy, maybe I almost want to say savory. I don't know. It's hard to tell in the nose. I'm excited to give it a try. Everyone's saying the bugs are just added protein. That's very true. All right. Cheers. They're not going to hurt you. Now that's the Four Roses flavor I was looking for. The nose was definitely deceiving. I think this has almost, even though I was going for the roses thing, it kind of does remind me of those like sweetheart candies that come out around Valentine's Day. I love those things. I'm a huge fiend of them as a kid. Like that was what I would trade for and get more of those. It kind of does have a little bit of that flavor, which is even more perfect. So not only is it a roses theme, but it tastes like Valentine's Day candy. So I think I'm patting myself on the back with this one. I think I got a good picker. Yeah, I'm excited. And this wasn't that expensive. It was $50. So all the recipes are, or at least in my area, are $50, which I think is pretty dang good for a single barrel, not barrel proof, but 100 proof. But if you know which recipe you like, I think that's a dang good deal. They had like 3 different recipes there. I just grabbed the one that I knew was my favorite. So I might have to. I don't know if I want to seek out all of them because that's a lot. If there's 10 recipes, maybe about $500. Like I mean, maybe Patreon does support the channel. Speaking of which, if you want to support the channel and see fun streams like that, you can join patreon.com/bourbonbytes. There's a link down below. As little as $2 a month helps, but you can join all the way up to our $50 tier, which gets you access to our monthly tasting where I send you some samples. We do a private tasting, tons of fun. There's also a tier above that, the Bourbon Daddy tier. Inquire within if you want to know about that one. But yes, check out Patreon. It really does help the channel and it helps me buy fun bottles like this to do random holiday themed streams because why not, right? Whether you're celebrating Valentine's Day or not, I know a lot of people are doing Galentine's Day, going out celebrating with their girlfriends. A lot of people are doing like the day after Valentine's Day, doing like Heartbreak Day. I've seen like a lot of heartbreak parties. They're playing a bunch of like breakup songs. It sounds like a lot of fun. So however you celebrate, at least do it deliciously with some good bourbon. Yeah, that one's. I would like to see it compared to some other Four Roses side by side. Unfortunately, this is the only Four Roses I have. Which every time I run out of Four Roses, I'm always like, why do I not have more Four Roses? I like it. I almost bought the Small Batch Select, but when I saw they had my favorite recipe, I had to give that a try. Small Batch Select is one that I always want to keep on my bar. It's one of my favorite Four Roses products, but I really like this a lot. I think 100 proof actually is really drinkable. I mean, I think this is like, not overwhelming. A lot of times Four Roses is a cask strength, which I enjoy, but right down at 100 proof, it's actually, even if someone's not super into like high proof bourbon, I think they could find a lot of sweetness and a lot of good notes here. I want a bourbon daddy. Well, I have an official way to be my bourbon daddy. Patreon.com/bourbonbytes. All right, let's move on. So we got the flowers out of the way, but we all know Valentine's Day is all about the box of chocolates. Of course, the heart shape is the typical one, but some people do like the Ferrero Rocher. I don't know how to pronounce that. The truffles, all those things, macarons, like the sweets are the heart of Valentine's Day. So I was trying to think like what whiskey kind of give me that sweet or like chocolate note. And I thought of a few actually. I thought of, for me, like one of the first one that came to mind was like Woodford Reserve. I think that one has a chocolatey note, especially their malt whiskey. But I wanted to stick in the world of bourbon, so I did not do that because they had the malt whiskey. So I was like, you know what? I've really gotten a good chocolate like dessert note on some Maker's Mark. My first thought went to the 46 cask strength, but I did some digging at local Total Wine, and they had a few different private selection picks, and this one seemed to fit the flavor profile. This one is called Fireside Spice. So this is a private barrel proof pick. This is from July of 2022, so it's been on the shelf for a while. 108 proof. There's the different staves there. And that roasted French Mendiant stage and the toasted French spice are known for their chocolatey cinnamon balm kind of notes. And I love those notes. So on their website, they describe the flavor profile of this pick as warmth and sweetness. Warmth and sweetness coat this selection with hints of Java, chocolate, and cinnamon. Enjoyed by the fire or on the patio on a dry, cool night. Well, it is not dry here in Los Angeles or in this household, but it's very rainy today, so it's not dry, but I think this is going to be a really great pour. Again, have not had this before. The heart release, oh my god, that's so much smarter. I already finished that, though. That's a great one, though. That would have been more perfect. Anyways, I didn't think about that. I've been spending all afternoon trying to think of different whiskeys related for this stream, but the heart would have been perfect. Good call with that one. What's up, Brandon? Brandon's here in the chat as well. News about whiskey. I think you're new to the channel. Welcome. Good to see you. How's everyone doing? I am doing well. I am excited to get into this new private selected Maker's Mark. Have not tried before. But yeah, the heart, you got that. That's such a good one, man. I didn't even think about that. What about a double oaked? That's also true. A lot of people online said that Old Forester 1910 was their go-to like chocolate note whiskey, which I can see that as well. Like y'all know, some of y'all know, I'm not the biggest Old Forester fan. So I decided to go with Maker's Mark instead because for me, I get chocolate on this one. So for me, this is mine. It also has the wax and the red. Like I was thinking, like the red, like candles. Like candles are also a Valentine's Day thing as well. So kind of part of the theme there. But yeah, let's go and go over this. Like I said, 108 proof, not too hot, about on par with a lot of the single barrel or on par with the cask strength Maker's Mark. It's like the territory they stick around. That is good. That's like bark, like I'm thinking chocolate bark or tree bark. Those are completely different things, but bark jumped in my head as soon as I smelled it. I think tree bark. What a weird specific note. I don't know why I thought that, but like, yeah, it does kind of have that like it's super oaky, which is not typical of Maker's Mark for me. They do say Java, chocolate, and cinnamon. I mean, it's really rich. I can tell just on the nose alone, this is going to be a very rich whiskey. Less sweet than I thought, though. What Maker's Mark, of course, is a wheated mash bill, so they don't use rye. So usually the whiskey is a little bit more mellow, a little more toned down. But this one's got a really interesting nose on it. Okay, I'm gonna give it a try. Let's try it. Cheers. Ooh, yeah, there we go. That's that French. They changed the name. It used to be called like chocolate stave, I think, but now it's called the French roasted French Mendiant. That one with this having four staves from that is so chocolatey. It's almost like a milk chocolate. It was dark on the nose and rich, but for me, it's like a milk chocolate. I do get some of like some cinnamon, like a Mexican hot chocolate. You know, it has some of the cinnamon notes, a little bit of spice with it too. I mean, that's what I would call this. I would call this Mexican hot chocolate because that's what I'm getting on it, but delicious nonetheless. Man, I've been missing these private selections. I used to buy them very frequently, but I've honestly the price has gone up on them. This one actually was on sale. This one was on sale for like $69, 68.99. Yeah, so I'm happy to pay that. But usually you see them like 80 ish. Like, oh, that's a bit much. But for $69, hell yeah. Also, $69 is very appropriate for Valentine's Day. I must say. News about whiskey said, has anyone seen the new label approved 1792 extended cask finished in Pinot Noir cask, bottled at 95 proof? Interesting. Okay. I know that there are those Thomas S. More releases that came out a few years back. I think they're also Barton labels, and they had a Cabernet finish. I think they had a Pinot Noir as well. But that's interesting. I wonder if maybe they're either doing a rebranding or they're just like kind of using that method for 1792 as well. I'm interested. I like the Thomas S. More releases, some better than others, but I did enjoy them. Yeah, this Maker's Mark Private Select. I mean, I Maker's Mark is one of those whiskeys that like it, it was one of the ones that made me fall in love with whiskey, especially the higher proofs, the private selects. I mean, to me, this is the most. I don't want to say the easiest whiskey because it's not. It's 108 proof, but I mean, I think anyone can. If you're interested in learning to love American whiskey, this is not going to be hard not to love. You know, even if you do prefer the rye and the spice, Maker's Mark just has something like familiar about it. I don't know. It just reminds me of a good. It's like a hug. I don't know why I say that, but it's not. It's like a Kentucky hug, I guess they say. But yeah, to me, it's warming. It's sweet and not overly complex. I don't think I've ever really felt like Maker's Mark was complex, but I've always thought that it had a very approachable, or not hefty, but more of like a viscous kind of flavor. I'm gonna have to go back to that one because I can see myself drinking that like they say by the fire, or just a long night. I think that's one that is definitely a sipper, and I could sip on that for way too long. But we're gonna move on. I know I feel like I'm moving a little faster. I can slow down because I only really have four whiskeys. So let's what are y'all's hell? I almost okay. Is this just me? I mix up Halloween and Valentine's Day all the time. I don't know why. They're completely unrelated holidays, but I always almost say Halloween when I'm talking about Valentine's and vice versa. I think probably on my see there I go on my Halloween stream. I think I said Happy Valentine's Day. My brain just for some reason confuses us. They're so opposite. I mean, they're like right around 6 months from each other, which I guess maybe that contributes to it. I don't know, or maybe I'm just like slow. But yeah, what are your Valentine's Day plans? It's on a Friday this year, which is fun. I'm not doing anything specific for Valentine's Day. We usually just go out and get like a nice dinner, not the same night of, usually like the weekend after. This one is on the weekend though, so we'll probably find a nice new spot to try out. And we moved to this part of the Los Angeles about a year ago, just over a year ago, and we're always discovering new places to try. Especially nice. There's a nice Italian restaurant that I haven't been to called Scopa that I haven't tried, or Scapa. I don't know how it's called, but everyone always recommends it. I need to look to see if they have reservations tomorrow. Let me let me book my Valentine's Day plans while I'm on the stream. No, no, I'll do that after. But yeah, so we're doing a nice dinner. We used to do gifts like the cards and lovey-dovey stuff, and eh, maybe still occasionally, but it's like I think both of us would much rather have just a lavish balls out dinner and like get a nice steak, go to a nice steakhouse, get some freaking lobster, a little bit of a splurge. That's kind of what our go-to thing to do, especially, and also our birthdays. Birthdays are the same. It's like, oh well, you pick whatever kind of food you want. It doesn't matter how much it costs. Let's go do it. So yeah, for me, Valentine's Day is about having a really good meal. Is that the Italian restaurant we walked by? No, but I have been to that one. The one we walked by last weekend is really small. It's like a very small family style restaurant. We went there. I forgot when it was. It was a special occasion, but I can't remember what. But that one's a small one. I like it a lot. But there's a nice one even right by Firestone, but further down. We wouldn't have walked by it. That's the one I'm thinking of. So I need to look to see if they have reservations. Cliffy is a goth kid at heart. Not really. I wasn't really a goth kid. I was friends with a lot of goth kids. Um, yeah, like I mean, just like high school. Like I had one in particular, but I had a lot of friends that were kind of, you know, punk rock kind of thing. Not really my jam. I mean, I did like like some punk. Actually, like punk pop was a thing. Like we're talking like Avril Lavigne, like Fallout Boy. Like I feel like things that are, and they're technically punk rock, I guess, but to me they're more pop. That was my jam. So maybe a little bit goth, a little bit. Tony said I'm gonna marry the first Chilean girl I see tomorrow. Actually, today. Well, Tony, what is it? Marry abroad or like something. There's like something like that where people like go out of the country. There's a subreddit called Passport Bros. Have y'all heard that? I just discovered it because I saw another subreddit making fun of it. It's just men, usually men, that travel internationally and find wives. And you know what? If it's a loving consensual relationship, I support it. Um, I just think it's fascinating to think that you're gonna go on a trip and you're gonna find the one. But maybe you can. I say I judge it, but then I think of things like just think of like movies, like when people. I mean, for me, it was the Lizzie McGuire movie, right? She went out to Italy, she met Paolo, and well, ended up not getting with them, but it was a romantic love story. So maybe it does happen, but I feel like it's kind of interesting that some people go out specifically to find a partner. So yeah, Passport Bros, right? Read it if you're interested. Although there's some really sexist and like misogynistic posts on that subreddit, so go prepared. I don't want to say like incels because like I think that's offensive, but it's like some of those opinions get across there, and I'm like, guys, like you're talking about people here. Like women are people; they're not just yeah. Anyways, wow, that is a tangent. I don't know why we're talking about this. Um, you know what, Michael? As I said that, I realized I meant to say we ball out, but I said with balls out. So that was I was hoping no one noticed that. That was my bad. Yeah, but that's a good. I mean, it's definitely California casual. I agree. Great catch there. Adam Freeze here. What's up, Adam? Good to see you. No worries. Not that late. I'm just moving fast tonight. So Tony says the first girl you see. I know that's like, good luck with that. Truth is, I have no idea if they even celebrate Valentine's Day. That's true. That's true. I think Valentine's Day is a very consumer American holiday because it's all about buying chocolates, buying flowers. I'm sure florists love it, but yeah, Love Abroad always worked on the Love Boat. That's true. That's true. What do I think of Love Abroad? That's something. Is that another show? Is that a reality show? I don't know. I don't watch any of these like romance reality shows. A lot of my coworkers do. It's just not my jam. We used to call that mail order rights. Yeah, it's the same concept. They call them Passport Bros this day. Again, I don't know. Like I said, as long as it's a loving, consensual relationship, I'm fine with it. A lot of times it's not, and it's pretty problematic. But anyways, moving on. We are not talking about that. Noticing that was more than I wanted to hear. I'm sorry, Donnie. I'm sorry. I meant ball out, like ballers, like, but okay. They do have. Oh, this is. I promise, this isn't going that direction. But I've seen a lot of Groupon ads for these like dining in the dark things, where it's supposed to be like um, it's like a sensory experience. So it's like you just it's complete dark, or like your servers are wearing like night vision goggles or something. I don't know, like that. But that to me, that's weird because I think sight is such a big part of food. Not as much as like smell and taste, obviously, but like I don't know if I could put something in my mouth without looking at it. I don't know. That's okay. That's also anyway. Wow, we are Cliffy is about to show up way too early here tonight. But let's keep drinking. We got one more whiskey. Of course, well, we can always go back. We got to do our love test at the end too. We got one more to go that was planned for this stream. Again, I was thinking of things that you do on Valentine's Day or gifts you get. I think obviously chocolates are number one, or chocolates or flowers are like number one, number two. But also, wine is like a go-to, like buying someone a nice bottle of wine or having wine with your Valentine's Day dinner. So I was like, let me find a good wine finished bourbon. And thankful to our good friend Joseph Brazo, he actually just sent me a new one from Woodinville. So this is Woodinville's special limited release of Sauternes Cask. So Sauternes is a very sweet white dessert wine. I've had it. I've had it on the channel. If you look up my channel, look up Sauternes, you'll find my review of it. I liked it a lot. I actually bought a second or third bottle of that. So I was a big fan of it, but it's a very, very sweet wine. So dessert, sweet, perfect for Valentine's Day. It is a white wine. I think to me, my brain automatically goes red wine when I think Valentine's Day, but I think that's just personal preference. I've always been a red wine guy. But anyways, this is a white wine. So if you saw in the thumbnail, there's white wine in the thumbnail. Yes, it's a reality show or 20. Yeah, that's how I feel too. Love Boat was on in the early 80s. Yeah, I've heard that. I've not watched it. Dining in the Dark, no one knows if your balls out. That's kind of what I was starting to imply, that I was like, I need to clean up my act a little bit. Blind people are always dining in the dark. Tony, that's very true. But maybe it enhances your other senses, right? Like I know I've always heard that if you're missing a sense, that your others are heightened. So maybe you can taste and smell things better than us. So, I don't know if that's just a myth. That could be just a myth, but I think that's kind of like what this encourages. It says like it's supposed to help you heighten your other senses because you can't see. But who knows if it's just a gimmick. But that's interesting. Emily says that some nonprofits do dining in the dark as a visually impaired awareness. Interesting. Yeah, I think this is more of a gimmick. I don't know if it's meant to do that, but I could see that. I mean, that'd be really interesting. I would try it. I just wouldn't consider that like a romantic dinner. Like it would be definitely intriguing, definitely different. I mean, I've done some pretty weird food like experience. I'm just thinking back to like Dollywood, or not Dollywood. What was it? The Dolly Parton show in like Myrtle Beach. I think they had one in Tennessee too, where it's like horses, a lot of horses running around and circus acts, and you're eating, and the horses are kicking up dirt onto your plate, and you're eating your chicken and your cornbread, and there's dirt everywhere. Dolly Parton's something Stampede, Dixie Stampede is what it used to be called. I'm sure it's probably not called that now because the word Dixie is kind of not changed connotations, but people have just realized there's probably better words to use for that. So, but it was called Dixie Stampede when I was a kid. Yeah, Dixie Stampede. I think they changed it to called Dolly Parton Stampede now, but it's the same thing. Yeah. So I've had some unique food experiences. Not quite in the dark though. Red wine is best wine. That's how I also feel that too. But that's first. It used to be called that. Yeah. But it's the same concept. There's medieval times as well. There's a bunch of like dinner and a show kind of things. So they're fun, but they're a little gross if you think about it. I don't want barnyard animals too close to my food, personally. Now as a kid, it was so much fun. All right. Anyways, you know what? It's actually good that I've gotten sidetracked so much because there was not just that there wasn't much content. Like I had a theme for the stream. It's just like I guess I could have talked about the whiskeys a little more, like reviewed them more. Well, now I'm like, okay, don't be a down. I'm being a downer now. Let's review this Sauternes Cask Woodinville. Guys, it's been a week. It's been a long week. It's rainy here. I'm just all out of whack. So I'm just glad to have company here. Zover's here. I love medieval times. I've never been actually, but I imagine it's very similar. Some of your food animals. Yes, but very sanitary animals. Ooh, the nose on this one. It's definitely, Woodinville has a signature nose flavor profile to me, kind of similar to like a nose that I've gotten before. Pencil shavings. Pencil shavings I get a lot on Woodinville. It's not in a bad note. It's just the way that the wood expresses itself with a lot of, I was gonna say Washington whiskey, but it could just be Woodinville. But this one has a bit of like a honey sweetness that's kind of complementing that, which I'm assuming is from the Sauternes Cask. I mean, that one is such a flavorful wine that I'm sure the bourbon could take it on so well. Realize I'm not drinking enough water today either. Like I said, everything's thrown off. But yeah, proof wise on this one, it is 105 proof. It was distill or no, is it barrel? Oh no, that's just never mind. It's just saying Woodinville was established in 2010. I was like, dang, that's an old whiskey, but no, it's just saying it's Woodinville. It's a straight bourbon whiskey finished in Sauternes cask. Nothing about age here. It's bottle number 112. Not single barrel as far as I know. I assume it's probably just like a small batch, but either way, I like the nose. I gotta go in for a taste. Cheers. Mm. Yeah, that's. It's been a while since I've had a bottle of Woodinville. I had a couple of bottles that I had for years and I never really finished them. It was the port cask, and there was an applewood cask. Those I liked, but I feel like they weren't my favorite Woodinville. I've had other Woodinvilles in the past that have blown away those two. This one is one of those. I'm gonna be sipping on this for a while, but because I enjoy it, not because I don't gravitate towards it. I really like this one. The Sauternes cask. I don't know. Like I said, it says limited release. I don't know if it's available distillery only. I would assume maybe because Joseph lives near the distillery, so I'm sure he got access to it. But yeah, man, it's good. I always say that rye does better. Rye does better with taking on like a wine cask finish, but with this being a sweet dessert white wine, I think bourbon actually is complemented by it well. We were kind of talking earlier about the Thomas S. More series of bourbons that kind of use the red wine cask. They even have a Chardonnay cask one as well. But yeah, I think this one actually really does work really well with the Sauternes. Donnie said it's Sauternes. It says Sauternes. Sauternes is magic for finishing whiskey. Yeah, I've only had it a couple times, Donnie. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure we've had one like you've been drinking it at the same time as me. Remind me of some other Sauternes finished whiskey because this is the first time I've had it in a while, but I knew it wasn't the first time I've ever had it. I don't know if Thomas S. More had that. I'm trying to think what other. I know High West did a bunch of like the barrel finishes. I'm pretty sure I've had one there, but I can't think of which other one I've had recently. I definitely have had one though. Tony said actually he's on the other side of the state, closer than all of us. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, yeah, I think it was Patrick that used to actually live close to the distillery. I don't know my Washington geography. I don't know what's where is what and what is where. But I am long overdue for another trip to Washington. I've only been once. If I go, I'll definitely try to make a stop to Woodinville. That is nice. I didn't go for a second sip of that one. It's rich, but it doesn't. It's not like overwhelmingly dark. If that makes any sense. Whereas I think the Maker's Mark was dark and rich. I think the Four Roses was dark and rich. This was not dark. It's a little more light, a little more not floral, but a little more. Let me get a taste before I have an opinion. So that pencil shaving note, it's bright though. It's a little floral, a little honey. I mean, that honestly, it might would have been better to pair with the flowers, which I did earlier with the Four Roses, because it does have that floral note, bright honeysuckle, really nice. I mean, honestly, that drink's like we talk about seasonal whiskeys, right? We did that recent stream talking about like a summer and a fall whiskey or a winter whiskey. This I could see being a spring whiskey because it has that bright. It's almost like a white flower. Like I know that's a specific thing, but I've heard other people say it too. It's like just like honeysuckle. I think of honeysuckle like the flowers on honeysuckles. I don't know. It's floral, but it's not like bitter. If that makes sense. Floral is one of those things that I feel like can be interpreted as bitter, but not necessarily. Anyways, I like that a lot. I don't know the price on that one. I assume it's probably in line with other special releases from Woodinville. Let me just see. Let's see if I can find like if it was distillery only or not. Let's see. Here's their website. Yeah, it was. It came out I think in January of this year, or maybe it says 2024 Cask collection, so it must have been late last year. 2024 harvest release. Procuring Sauternes barrels was a challenge, taking 3 years to source 5 casks. They only had 5 casks. Interesting. Once they were sourced, Brett began what was at the time an experiment and was pleasantly surprised every step of the way. Through regular tastings, Brett determined the optimal aging period to be around 8 months in the Sauternes cask, ultimately settling on a proof of 105. The noses they give here are raisins, ripe plum, vanilla-soaked pears, kiwi, followed by creamy toffee finish, bourbon characteristics. That's kind of I said pear. I think pear is also a summer or a spring flavor. I have Orchard House. I was talking about this on my last stream when I was talking about seasonal whiskey. Orchard House is a Scotch from Compass Box, a blended Scotch, and that one has a strong apple and pear note. And I've said that's a spring whiskey for sure. So I think this one, yeah, it's interesting that Sauternes like it transforms whiskey in like a complete opposite direction of like a red wine or like a port because they're both sweet, but port goes darker. And they say raisins. I don't get raisins at all. No, I get the brighter. I get the plum. I get the I don't get pears necessarily. I can see pears kind of the like skin of a pear. That's weird, weirdly specific, but it's like not necessarily like the sweet like meat of a pear, but definitely pear esque. But to me, is more like a honeysuckle flavor. Mostly had Scotch finished in Sauternes. Had an Aaron Sauternes finish. That's true. Had him same brain. Oh, it's earlier with you guys. Oh, Blood Oath Pack 7. That's it. That's it. I was trying to think of it was just that's probably the one I was thinking of. I was thinking it was a special release, so that was probably it. I feel like that one was Donnie had that one as well. Okay, like I said, I remember Donnie had some as well. Emily said demolished the Woodinville port, floral with bitter. I don't know. Like, to me, I say that because I think floral is a note that I don't typically like. I mean, that's the reason I avoided Four Roses for the longest time because I thought it was all floral, which not just because of the name. I just the standard mash bill of Four Roses to me tastes floral. To me, I interpret it as bitter. It's just because it's not sweet. I guess I'm seeing it as bitter. It's not a flavor profile I typically enjoy. Thankfully, this Four Roses, the OBSF that we had earlier tonight, does not have that note at all. It's more like a candy sweetness. So that's what I meant by that. Bardstown, Doisy Dane. Not had that one. Apple's a fall thing. New harvest around September. That's true. For me, I interpret that as like a spring flavor, but that's just I think it's just different opinions. It's always like floral gives me aromatic, sometimes sweet, another time it can be earthy. Yeah, I don't know. I just it's a note that I don't like. I like earthy, I like sweet, but I don't like floral. So it's just like a very specific one. And I know, I mean, obviously you're a huge Four Roses fan, so makes sense. You do like that nose or that note, but I don't necessarily enjoy it. Tony over here in Chili's. Uh, always appreciate the random other Tonys that make an appearance. So that does it for the reviews, but we still have our love language quiz that I've challenged ChatGPT to come up with questions to determine my love language through questions related to bourbon. So we're gonna answer these questions that ChatGPT served up for me. I got 14 questions because the 14th day of February for Valentine's Day. Let's see what Cliffy's love language is. So I'm not going to share my screen. I'm just going to read them out. Question number 1. Would an ideal date or gathering involve sitting down with someone and discussing whiskey for hours? I mean, I've already done that with you all, so I pretty much dated you all. I mean, I guess I'm a player, not a baller, but I'd let my balls out at the table. So yes, I absolutely would consider that an ideal date or gathering. Let's see, what's next? Oops. Number 2. I guess I don't need to put in it. I'll just do 2. Number 2. How excited would you be if a loved one surprised you with a rare, hard to find bottle of your favorite bourbon or whiskey? How excited? Like extremely excited in all kinds of ways. Number 3. I don't want to take too long on these questions. If a loved one wrote a personalized toast before sharing a drink with you, would that make the experience more special? Okay. I don't know. I mean, it's cute. It's cute, but I also feel like it could be cringe. I don't know. I think it's a little cringy. Like I mean, it's cute, but it's like toast. It's not one thing I normally do. So I'm gonna say no. For me personally, it's not gonna make it more special. All right. Question number 4. You guys may feel differently. You guys may love special toasts, but to me, it feels more like listening to someone read like slam poetry, and I'm just like awkwardly standing there by them and waiting for them to get done so I can snap my fingers. I don't know. Maybe it's just something socially awkward. I don't know. All right, number 4. Do you find that the atmosphere, being near someone, feeling their presence, enhances your appreciation of good whiskey? Well, I mean, we all say in the whiskey community is it's not about the whiskey; it's about who you enjoy it with. I think absolutely. Yes, it does enhance the experience being around people you love and people you care for and good friends like all of you. By the way, if you love me too, you'll hit that subscribe button down below and the thumbs up. Just kidding. But I mean, yeah. But anyways, question number 5. If someone planned an entire evening centered around whiskey tasting and deep conversation, would that feel like a meaningful way to connect? Totally. Absolutely. I mean, I think I'm fortunate that my significant other is a whiskey drinker as well. So we definitely, I mean, he's less of a uh, obsessed with it as I am, but he does appreciate good whiskey. So yeah, I think that's can bring people together. You can learn like what the flavor profile is and why they like whiskey. Maybe they have some good memories associated. So yeah, totally. All right, number 6. Do you appreciate it when someone takes the time to clean or organize your whiskey collection without you asking? Um, I don't think so because I don't know. I feel like I don't know if I would trust someone to like clean it without knocking something over or putting things in a different order. I would say no. Like I'd rather do that myself, even though I'm really bad about it. Like these bottles are probably very dusty. I'm gonna say no. What do you guys think? Would you let someone touch your whiskey collection? I mean, I guess if it's like a spouse, you have a little more trust with them. But just that question makes me feel icky. Adam said Barrel has done Sauternes, Westward, and Chattanooga. Interesting. Okay, I think I may have had the Barrel one. Did I drop in the Patreon info there? Yes, thank you so much. We did our monthly movie night last Friday. We watched what did we watch? Is something romance? Oh, shoot, Tootsie. Wait, Tootsie? Is that what it's called? I think it was Tootsie. That was fun. I actually enjoyed that one. Fred says, funny you discussed that. I just got back from Jig. I think that's where you said the pick was from. Nice. Also, hi, Fred. Good to see you. All right. Number 7. Would you rather share your best bottle with someone whose company you enjoy rather than drink it alone? Yes, absolutely. I love sharing. I love sharing good whiskey. Um, I'd rather drink it than them drink it alone. I'll just say that. I don't want them drinking my good whiskey unless I'm sharing it. Mike said they can't touch my whiskey, but if I have my balls out there, okay. I'm gonna never live that down. Northwest Bourbon in the chat. Cheers! Thank you so much for stopping in. Good to see you. We're doing a love language test to find out what my love language is through ChatGPT's bourbon-related questions. Number 8. If your partner planned and prepared a whiskey-paired dinner at home, would that gesture be more meaningful than simply buying a bottle? Yes. I mean, these questions are like, this isn't going to tell me anything. Like, this just sounds like the perfect partner that's doing all this whiskey related stuff. Yeah, no, I love pairings. I've never really, I don't think I've ever really done a whiskey paired dinner, like where we taste different whiskeys. It's surprising I haven't. I know that's a thing. I've had like a whiskey paired with the dinner, but not like several. Um, I don't, I don't know how I feel about like food and whiskey. I know it's a thing. I know like people like Peggy Stevens are like experts at it. I just never really explored pairing foods with whiskeys. I usually drink wine with my meals. Anyways, number 9. Would a heartfelt compliment about your whiskey knowledge or taste mean more to you than receiving an expensive bottle? Oh, that's kind of a tough one. Would a heartfelt compliment about your whiskey knowledge or taste mean more to you than receiving an expensive bottle? I mean, no, because I like getting nice bottles. I mean, if it's simple, like, wow, you're so smart, like, wow, you know so much about whiskey, like, yeah, that's fine. But if you're like, I love how passionate you are about this, and it makes me passionate about you. Like, are we talking like like a rom com, like a love, like a something that doesn't happen in real life? We're talking about something that really does happen in real life. So I'm gonna say no. I'd rather have an expensive bottle of whiskey. Maybe I'm materialistic. Who knows? All right, number 10. If you and your partner were sipping whiskey by a fire, would cuddling or physical closeness make the moment even better? Uh, that's okay. That's a great question. I am one of those weird people that like if I'm eating or drinking something, I don't want to be touched. Is that weird? Like no, it's like I don't want to like maybe I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I do appreciate like closeness, but it's like I don't know if while I'm drinking a whiskey, do I want that? Maybe I'm just so weird. I don't know. I'm just like it's weird. I think it's like a anxiety thing or something. Like I used to have trouble swallowing, and especially if I'm in a situation like that, I don't know if I'd like physical affection while I'm drinking whiskey. So I'm gonna say no. That's what gonna skew my results, but I'm gonna say no to that. Y'all feel free to tell me how wrong I am about some of these. Number 11, does the experience of clinking glasses in a toast add to your enjoyment of a drink with someone special? Well, you guys know every time I take a sip, or not every time I take a sip, every time I try something new for you guys, I will do this. I'm not going to actually hit the camera because I don't want to break it. But yes, I think so. I think it's fun. It's a nice way to say, like, okay, let's get in this moment and enjoy this together. So yes, I will say that definitely does enhance it. And then all taking time to drink it, think about the notes, sharing them. That's what we do at our private tastings. Fred knows. We all drink at the same time and share our thoughts. So Tony said, don't touch me when I'm drinking. Okay, at least someone's agree. You're definitely not that weird. My wife doesn't want me to try to cuddle her while she's trying to eat. Yeah, so I think it's just a thing that just some people like after we drink whiskey, yes, of course. But like while we're drinking it, probably not. You have trouble swallowing. I'll be... Oh my God, Fred. Oh, sorry. I don't think we ever cleaned glasses once the entire week I was with you. Well, Tony, I'm sure we did. I'm pretty sure I remember sitting at the Fountain Blue bar with you when we were drinking our cocktails, and I'm pretty sure we cheersed each other with them. I'm like 98% sure of that, Tony. Let's see. Number 11. Oh, those are clinking glasses. Yes, it does enhance the experience. 12. Do you love receiving whiskey-related gifts, such as personalized glassware, a decanter, or barrel aging kit? No. I think I've had it all before. I think any whiskey lover hates this because we either get whiskey stones, a decanter we don't need or want. I don't want a whiskey-related gift unless it's it's kind of cool to get a book, but sometimes they're just I don't know. I think after being into whiskey for so many years, the kind of thought of a whiskey-related gift kind of gets old. So I said no for that one. My words, my words. I know. Do you love getting whiskey rocks? See, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, no. 13. If someone brought you back a special bottle of whiskey from a distillery visit or trip, would that mean a lot to you? Yes. Very much so. Very much so. I mean, you guys that live near distilleries and you're sending samples or you're sending bottles like Joseph just did with this one. Absolutely. That means so much. And I get so excited to try them for the channel and enjoy them. So yes, you guys, always appreciate getting some samples or some bottles from you guys. If you're curious about how to send it, shoot me a message. I'm always happy to review things that you send me. All right, and lastly, our 14th question. Would it mean a lot if someone learned how to make your favorite whiskey cocktail perfectly just for you? Absolutely. I usually make the whiskey cocktails around the house, and Justin makes other cocktails like gin and rum and things like that. I think it's just whiskey cocktails, I've made them so often that I know the perfect way to do them. Not that sounds super conceited, but I mean I'm talking about a Manhattan, a Sazerac, old fashioned. I have my way that I enjoy it. But having someone that knows how to make a good whiskey cocktail absolutely would make me it would mean a lot to me. I don't know what I was gonna say with that. All right. Fred said the people that give whiskey rocks are the people that think you liking whiskey means that you like viral. Exactly. I know there's good intentions behind it. I will never cringe in someone's face if they give it to me. But yeah, this is for all you watching this that are thinking oh, maybe this video will give me advice to give my lover. Don't give them whiskey stones. Don't get them. I mean, personalized glassware could be cool if you know that they don't have glassware already. I mean, I always get I love custom Glencairns with different logos. This is from Blind Barrels. So I think that, yes, but not just basic. I don't know. Know the person well before you do that. They may already have a million glasses. All right, well, Tony's battery is at 69, so we got to finish our quiz. Emily says perfect Manhattan. Yes, please. Yeah, see, there we go. Number 15, if I touched your whiskey bottle, would you hold it against me? Oh, God. All right, let's find my love language. Here's my answers. Let's see what ChatGPT says. Based on your answers, your strongest love language appears to be quality time and receiving gifts. You highly value quality time, which means sharing meaningful experiences, deep conversations, and enjoying whiskey with others important to you. Receiving gifts also stands out, showing that thoughtful whiskey-related surprises, especially rare or personal ones, mean a lot to you. You seem to appreciate when someone puts effort into curating a special experience or finding the perfect whiskey-related gift, but verbal affirmation and physical touch don't seem to be as important for you. I feel like that's biased because the one question about do you like to be cuddled while you're drinking whiskey? I feel I don't know, maybe that threw things, but I think quality time. Actually, definitely fits me. I think that's what I love about the community is drinking whiskey with you guys, sharing it, sharing stories, going to our after party hangout, which we're about to do for Patreon's $10 and up after this stream. Every Thursday night we have an after party for supporters of the channel. So yes, I think that's very fair. Quality time. I'm very happy with that decision. I'm gonna go back to this Four Roses real quick. Now that it's kind of opened up a bit, I'm kind of see where that's gone. I just noticed they have tasting notes in the back. They say that it's delicate rye, apple, mint, clove, and cocoa. Well, cocoa is a very Valentine's themed note. I did say this one was a bit earthy and spicy. Or maybe I said earthy on the maker's mark. I forget. I did say spicy though. I like that. It's like a candy, a little bit like a. I was saying like a ginger kick, weirdly enough, but it's maybe like clove. It just kind of has some of that like tingly throat feelings that ginger gives me. But yeah, overall, every single whiskey I tried tonight was a great pour. I think my favorite of the night probably had to go to actually the Woodinville. This one impressed me the most. It's been a minute since I've had a Woodinville, so I'm excited to have a cask finish that I really, really appreciate. I always love good Maker's Mark Private Select, and these single barrel Four Roses are very intriguing, so I definitely want to keep an eye out for more of those. Like I said, I don't know if I'll buy all of them because that's very expensive, but I think they had a gift set at one point, so maybe I'll seek that out. I definitely missed that when they had that, but I've already kind of did a Roses theme, but that was kind of a little biased because it was different store picks, but I don't know. Let me know if y'all want to see more Four Roses on the channel. I know Zopher does. Northwest Bourbon said I just hit the thumbs up button for free. To not would recommend. Well, I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed the experience. I hope you all enjoy your Valentine's Day and Valentine's Day weekend, whether you are celebrating it with a loved one or not. Maybe just spend quality time with your friends and family. And maybe that's all we need this season is leaning on each other, supporting each other, just being there for each other, and maybe having a glass or two of whiskey while you do it. All right. Northwest said, is that Woodinville pick? It is not. It's just a special distillery release of their Sauternes cask. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys next Thursday. Don't know what we're doing. I know I owe Tony some reviews on some whiskeys he sent me. They're still sitting over here. Brandon tried to get into them. I'm like, no, those are mine. So Tony, I might do your samples next week. Brandon's in the chat. Great. I was hoping he was going to be gone when I made that comment. No worries. All right. Cheers, y'all. See y'all next Thursday, and have a great weekend. Bye.